In this video, you'll learn how to handle pagination with Beautiful Soup. Remember, this is a workaround. Pagination is easier to handle on Selenium and Scrapy. So in case this lesson feels a bit complicated for you, feel free to skip this lesson and learn pagination on Selenium or Scrapy. So far we learned how to scrape the title of a transcript, the transcript itself, and then also we learned how to scrape multiple transcripts that are in a single page, like this list of movies that are here. But now what happens if we want to scrape a list of movies that are in different pages like this? Here we have like 92 pages, and what happens if we want to scrape all those transcripts contained in those multiple pages? So here we can use something called pagination, and this will help us work with different pages with Beautiful Soup. So let's go back to the code, and we're going to use again the same code that we used for the second part of this Beautiful Soup course. And now we're going to add pagination, a new variable. So I'm going to write this here in the middle of the code, and now I'm going to inspect these pages. So just right click here, inspect, it's the same process, and now we get this one here, and we get a class that says pagination, UL class pagination. So I'm going to copy this UL, and then I'm going to write soup find, and then just UL and then the class as well, and I'm going to copy pagination. So with this we have like the whole bar here, and now we can have also the content that is here. So as you can see, each number it's in a LI tag that I'm just highlighting right now, and we can get the total number of pages. So that's what we're gonna do here. So what I'm gonna do is copy again this LI, and I'm going to write pagination because this is my new reference, and now find all and open string and then LI, then again the class. As you can see, it's the same process, and then I'm going to copy page item. So copy and paste, and I'm gonna call these pages. This is my pages variable. So go back here to the page, and now let's inspect this 92 because this is the total number of pages. This is the number I want to get. So let's see what happens with this 92. So now I clicked on it, and now I had this. So this is 92, and we see that this arrow here, this right arrow, it says page item. As you can see here, I'm highlighting it now, so it's in blue. It's here, page item, and it has the same name, 92. So as we can see here, if we go to the last element, we get this little arrow here, but we don't want this. We want the number. So we have to get one element before the last one. So how we can do this in Python is this way. We write pages, and then we open square brackets and write -2. So basically what this means is don't get the last, but get one before the last. So this is -2. When you write minus, you start from the last position. So -1 is the last, and -2 is one before the last element. So now I'm going to write text to print this or to get the text. So now I'm getting this LI, and if I get the text, I will get 92, which is what I want. So this is going to be just equal to last page. So now I'm going to comment here pagination so you guys don't get lost. So this is basically the new section that we are writing, this one, pagination, and this is what we wrote before. So now this is only the new thing we wrote, and what we're gonna do is make a loop again like we did before, but we're going to see first the structure. So let me show you here very fast. So as you can see here, we have again the root, which is subslikescript.com, and now we have a different view, which is movies letter -a. So this is the first page, but if we go to the second page, something will show up, which is a new structure. So this is the syntax of this website. Every time you go to a new page, this will show up, even in page 1. So I'm going to show you page 1, and it goes to the first page, which is this, the one we were before, and that's basically the syntax. So now we have to add this to our code. So first I'm going to change the website to this because we were doing something a little bit different before. We were in the movies view or the movies page, but now we are in the letter A because we want to get transcripts from letters. We are in letter A and then go from 1 to 92. So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to keep the root. So now everything is ready to make the loop because we have the root here and this movies letter A. So check here again, root movies letter A. So now we have just to complement this with this question mark page equal to 1. And this 1 is going to be part of the loop we're going to create. So let me show you here what I'm talking about with some code. So I'm going to write for page in range I to last page plus 1 and then colon. So here I just made a typo, it's 1 not I, and now here I have to add to make sure this is an integer, and now I'm going to explain you what I did here. So basically a range, it's a set of numbers that starts with one number and ends with another number. So let's imagine this is 1 and this is 10. So if we say range from 1 to 10, it's going to give us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So basically what I'm saying is get from 1 to 92 plus 1. So this, if I just do 92, it's going to give me from 1 to 91 because that's how range works. So if I want 92, I do 92 plus 1. That's basically what I'm doing here with range. I'm going to write range so you can understand this much better, what I'm doing here. So it's just give me array from 1 to 92 in this case because there are 92 pages here. So that's it. So now I'm gonna repeat the process that we did before when we created the for loop before in those multiple pages. Yeah, you remember when we scrape all of this? We're gonna repeat that process. So the first thing we're gonna do is copy this from website to soup, and we're gonna paste this here. And why we do this is because every time we go to a new page here in the loop, we are looping through the 92 pages. Every time we go to a new page, Beautiful Soup has to read that content that it's there, so it can give you the result, and then you can get the soup, the correct soup for that page, right? So that's why we're doing that. So we have the website here, the result, the content, everything okay, but we have to modify the website. All of this is okay except the website because as I told you before, we have a new syntax. This is a new structure. So I'm going to write here the new syntax, and I'm going to use, yeah, the root again, but now I'm going to change something here. I'm going to add the page. So I'm going to write page, and also I'm going to copy this. I'm going to copy actually everything so I have a good guide here. So just copy this, comment this out, and now I have the root, which is this root. And now movies letter A, and it's here, and now the question mark and page. So I'm going to write question mark, the page variable it's set, and now we have to add equal to 1. Oh, I'm sorry, I made a mistake. It's not this way, but it's page equal to page. It's just a little mistake. So basically this is question mark, question mark. I just was confused because of page, but this is question mark, and now page equal to, and then the number of the page. So page equal to the number of the page, which is a variable. Yeah. So this is just one of the disadvantages when you write the variable and you have here repeat it again. Just you can get confused, but I think everything is clear now. This is the number and this is the variable that has the number that we want. So I'm going to leave here just in case you want to check this out and compare it with this that has the same structure. Now we have everything set. This is the result, the content, the soup. And now we have to indent this code we wrote in the previous videos. So I press tab, and I think this should do it. Now everything is ready for us to run this code, but I just realized something, that we have this website, that variable, that we can reuse it. So as you can see here, we have the root movies underscore letter dash A, and this is basically this. So we can reuse this, not use the root, but use the website, because we have all this structure already here. So I'm going to delete this here. So I'm gonna just erase this and write website here. So this is the same thing, just we made the code shorter by using the right variable. Something else I want to add here is that in this chunk of code that we wrote before in the last section that is working fine, we can add something just to handle some errors that could come up. So we can write the try except block, doing try and then tab and write here except. So let's imagine there is no transcript or no title here. In this chunk of code, we are in this view. Let me show you here. So basically in this code, we are in this page. This code represents this page. So what happens if the transcript that we're looking at, or the transcript that we're scraping, doesn't have neither the title nor the transcript? So that's gonna throw an error and that's gonna break our code. So we don't want that. So one way to handle that is with the try and except block, and we only write try this code, and then if something goes wrong, just pass. That's something we can do. So what this is gonna do is, if this goes wrong, just pass to the next iteration. So if one link is not working or doesn't have information, go to the next link. That's basically what it does. But something I want to add is I want to maybe print the links here just to keep track of them. And I'm gonna comment this out, and I'm gonna add here a message in case there is one link that is not working. So I'm gonna print the link, but I'm gonna also show a message that it's gonna say link not working. So we know that this is not working and needs to be checked, or just to let us know that something happened. Now before we run this code, I'm going to cut this and I'm going to put it inside because this is supposed to create a file when this works. When it doesn't work, it's not supposed to create a new file. So I'm just going to include this creation of the txt file inside this try block. So now everything is ready for us to run our code. But for purposes of this video, I'm not going to run the 92 pages because that's too long. So I'm just going to take 2 pages. So for video purposes, I don't want to make this video so long with the 92 pages, so I'm going to write square brackets and then colon 2. This means that I want the first 2 pages, so it's going to give me the first and the second. Finally, before we run this script, we have to do a couple of changes. So the first thing we're going to do is to place this links list outside the for loop, because if it's inside the loop, we're going to create empty lists in every iteration. So we don't want that. So we're going to place it outside the for loop, so all the data is stored. The second thing we're going to do is to omit this website variable. Instead, we're going to include this f-string expression inside the request.get, so we don't repeat this website variable twice. And we're going to do this inside the other for loop, the nested for loop. So we're going to cut and paste it inside this request.get, so we don't have any problems when running the code. Now I'm going to run the script to create the text files. So I run the script and now I'm waiting for the first text file to be created. So as you can see, now many files are being created, and in my directory I have the text file. So it's creating text files one by one, and I'm going to cut until the moment I have that 30 transcripts per page. So we're supposed to get 60 transcripts or 60 text files. So now all the text files were scraped. I get the message that the process finished, and I'm going to my directory, and as you can see, there are 60 items. So all the transcripts were scraped correctly. So I'm gonna check this out. I'm going to open up a text file, and I'm going to check if the transcript is the same as the one that appears in the website. So I'm going to the website, and now I open the same movie, and I'm gonna check, and yeah, it's the same transcript. So everything was perfect. And that's it. We just learned all the tools that Beautiful Soup offers you to scrape a website. In the next section, we're going to learn how to scrape JavaScript-driven web pages with Selenium.